Code red. New York slammed the panic button and the siren's still echoing. Sandy Brondello is out and the league just forgot how to breathe for a second. Plot twist, what looks like a bonfire in Brooklyn smells like a 5-course feast in Indiana. Hungry teams don't ask who started the fire. They plate the smoke and call it dinner. Buckle up. If you ride for Caitlin Clark, this isn't a headline, it's a doorway. Wide open, lights blazing, velvet rope curled aside like it never existed. Here's the kicker. Brondello isn't a resume, she's a remote control. Press play and stars stop buffering, press pause, and chaos freezes mid-scream. Hot take, pairing Sandy with Caitlin is less nice idea and more geological event. Fault lines shift, ceilings crack, and the league map needs new ink. No fluff, the all-star test run told you everything. Caitlin traded for a coach, a first in the how is this real annals, and Sandy handed her the clipboard like a mic at a sold-out show. Hook, line, and X's and O's. Clark didn't get babied, she got empowered. Call sets, read tags, feel pace, then push it till the stanchion rattles and the bench can't sit still. Keep your eyes up. New York's season looked like a movie trailer, highlight after highlight, slow-mo daggers, confetti in the mind, until injuries invaded the script with red pens. Real talk, even when the body's bent, the culture didn't. Stars caped ankles and wrote thunder in Sharpie, grind in possessions like teeth on steel. Shock moment. After the loss, the players circled Sandy like a fortress. No blame games, just backs together and eyes forward. The kind of unity you can't fake on camera. Wishplash alert. Then came the front office twist. Contract not renewed, thank you for your service. Please hand in your whiteboard like it never drew miracles. Street verdict. Fans went full caps, analysts went full forensic, rivals went full, you serious? Because every model said the same thing. Nobody saw that coming. Numbers with teeth, 4 seasons stacked with wins, deep spring runs, and a ring that silenced decades. Consistency so steady it set its own metronome. Fine print. Word on the street said championship or bust, like a tattoo. Wall Street patience in a microwave age, which is to say, patience is a rumor. Zoom out, see wider. Sandy didn't just steer, she off-roaded. Potholes of absences, hairpin back-to-backs, roster duct tape, and somehow the engine still purred. Midwest siren. Indiana heard the clang of opportunity and started polishing the welcome mat, because when coach of consequence hits the market, you don't window shop. Take note, social timelines turned into megaphones. Hire Sandy or explain yourself, the kind of course you don't mute without consequences. Let's get tactical. Brondello ball isn't chaos, it's jazz. 5-out spacing that stretches the floor like taffy. Horn sets that braid guards and bigs. Spain pick and rolls that feel like magic tricks. Edge of your seat. Imagine Clark ripping downhill off a ghost screen, the weak side lifting like an elevator, and the corner shooter reading the low man like a book with pop-ups. Simple truth. Caitlin's best self burns when she's trusted. Early drag PNR, quick pitch ahead, second side rescreens, the whole offense breathing like lungs after a rainstorm. Make no mistake, Sandy doesn't hand over the keys and nap in the back. She sits shotgun with a map, circling shortcuts, calling out speed traps, and slapping the dashboard in rhythm. Don't blink, the Brondello vibe is clarity. Roles like name tags, responsibilities like road signs, and standards like the horizon. Always there, always pulling you forward. Here's the heat. Some folks swear the league prefers Caitlin dimmed to a tasteful glow. Pair her with Sandy and you'll need sunglasses at midnight and a new power grid. Business class, ratings spike, merch pops, road crowds hum, and the neutral fan stops being neutral, because art plus stakes equals habit, and habit is the golden goose. Memory lane, roll back to All-Star. Clark sidelined but scheming, Sandy smiling with a clipboard in one hand and opportunity in the other, and suddenly the bench felt like a brain trust. Quiet headline, respect flows faster than water downhill. Veteran coach says coach as much as you want, and a second-year superstar becomes an honorary architect on the spot. Say it out loud. That's not babysitting, that's belief. Belief has a sound, a warmth, a hum you can feel in your ribs when the gym gets loud. Meanwhile, New York's decision reads like a riddle. Win big, inspire belief, set the standard, and still get shown the door, as if excellence is a rental with hidden fees. File this under choices. You can crown culture or chase novelty. One gives you statues, the other gives you press releases. Choose wisely and you sleep. Choose poorly and you trend. In case you missed it, Indiana's timeline overflowed. Bring Sandy, protect Caitlin, build the dynasty. Not whispered wishes, but street corner sermons with receipts. Let's talk white. Defenders of the current regime can carry sturdy arguments, but momentum has a volume, and lately it's shouting upgrade like a stadium countdown. Cold open, this isn't about discrediting anyone, it's about maximizing the rarest thing in sports, a generational engine who makes math look unfair and space feel larger. Deeper cut, Clark's gift is gravity. She bends help defenders like spoons, drags two to the point of attack, and leaves the backside begging for mercy or a rotation late. System check, Sandy's gift is orchestration. She stacks actions until the defense stutters, sequences screens like beads on a string, and whispers timing into wrists. Now picture this, 21 seconds left, tie game, Brondello flashes fist, goes twist, Clark rejects the first screen, snakes the second, and the weak side 45 cuts like a camera snap.
The storied Who's Your Heartbeat love smart hoops. Ball reversal like a handshake, off-ball cuts like gossip, layups like church bells on a Sunday. Money talk. A Clark-Sandy era turns every home date into appointment TV. Corporate suites find their checkbooks, families find their Saturdays, and neutrals find their remotes. Culture note. Indianapolis isn't a bandwagon town, it's a blueprint town. Show the plan, show the effort, and the city shows up with lungs and loyalty. Reality check. Not everyone in power loves when one star changes the weather. Some prefer cloud cover, some prefer forecast they can control. Spicy truth. A Brondello-Clark fusion makes umbrellas useless. The sky's clear, the sun glares, and all the shadow games lose their hiding places. This matters. Parity is lovely on paper, but greatness is what drags kids to driveways and spins nets into confetti. Let a comet blaze and watch the night learn color.
Hand on heart, Sandy respects hierarchy without worshiping it. She believes in the huddle over the hallway, the tape over the rumor, and the next possession over the last mistake. Let's dissect fit. Brondello's playbook lives for elite pull-up range, high PNR at the logo, screen angles that flip last second, and slip threats that make bigs sweat. Sharper still, she'll toggle tempos. Early offense when the rebound hits hands like a slingshot. Late clock counters when the set gets chewed to the bone. Roll clarity matters. Shooters shoot with a conscience clean as glass. Bigs dive like they mean it, and guards read tags like timestamps on a heist plan. Defense isn't a footnote. Sandy teams talk. Low man digs, then recovers. Nail help shows a chest, not a reach. And matchups switch with the grace of a dance taught well. Keep the lens wide. Caitlin's defense is underrated when her legs are fresh and her brain is invited. Anticipation is a cheat code when the scheme gives you the questions in advance. Here's the hinge. The best coaches don't just design plays, they design minutes, recovery windows, usage waves, opponent-specific bursts, the art of peaking at the right 10 possessions. Story beats. The league is a soap opera with sneakers, power, perception, and the perpetual fight to own the last word of the last quarter. Follow the breadcrumbs. Brondello praises Clark out loud, the world nods, and a faction frowns, because affirmation is political when the spotlight burns this brave. Don't get it twisted, New York can rebrand Not Renewed as Moving Forward, but the film doesn't lie. The film says she coached the paint off the lines. Stay skeptical. Calling this standard sounds strong until you remember injuries chewed rotations like gum and she still lined up W's like dominoes. Think bigger. Excellence is not an on-demand subscription. It's a garden. You water, you prune, you survive a frost and count your blossoms in June. Indiana, hear this. Timing is a ruthless clock. Opportunity does not sit on hold and hum. It taps the watch and asks if you're serious. Game theory says strike. The roster is ripe for a conductor. Clark's arc curves up. The supporting cast grows teeth and the fan base wants a vision they can memorize. Feet are on hardwood. Imagine practice, a crisp whistle, a simple rule, a relentless standard. And 5 minutes later, the passes start singing instead of clanking. Don't get it twisted. New York can rebrand Not Renewed as Moving Forward. But the film doesn't lie. The film says she coached the paint off the lines. Stay skeptical. Calling this standard sounds strong until you remember injuries chewed rotations like gum and she still lined up W's like dominoes. Think bigger. Excellence is not an on-demand subscription. It's a garden. You water, you prune, you survive a frost and count your blossoms in June. Indiana, hear this. Timing is a ruthless clock. Opportunity does not sit on hold and hum. It taps the watch and asks if you're serious. Game theory says strike. The roster is right for a conductor. Clark's arc curves up, the supporting cast grows teeth, and the fan base wants a vision they can memorize. Feet on hardwood. Imagine practice, the crisp whistle,
A simple rule, a relentless standard, and 5 minutes later the passes start singing instead of clanking. Language of trust. Great coaches give players words to think with. Shift earlier, hit the nail, flatten the tag, and suddenly chaos speaks English. Hook again. Empower Clark to quarterback from the arc, give her a reliable short roll partner, and watch the corner threes live like fireworks in July. Scenario A. Sandy signs, training camp feels like the first day of a better school. Assignments clear, pace humming, and every drill ending with a made shot or a push-up. Scenario B. Status quo lingers, and the year becomes a tug of war. Moments of brilliance wrapped in questions that smell like déjà vu. Origin story. Clark is more than a scorer, she's a storyteller. Angles, tempos, feints, the plot twist where the help bites and the lob floats like a secret whisper to the rim. Director's cut. Brondello is more than a supervisor, she's an editor. Trim the fat, sharpen the cuts, find the through line, and ensure the ending lands on a standing ovation. Work backward. You want June banners? Choose January habits. Film honesty. Conditioning that asks hard questions and accountability that answers even harder. Tone matters. Sandy teams don't whine about whistles. They win the margins. Offensive rebounding lanes assigned like chores, transition defense treated like an oath. The subtlety. Her ATOs are small miracles, decoy action at the slot. Zipper cut into a back screen, the third option hiding like a punchline that never misses. The payoff. Fourth quarters become familiar territory, not a panic attack, but a neighborhood where everybody knows the street names. Legacy whisper. Dynasties start with decisions that feel risky, and end with parades that feel inevitable. Only hindsight lets you pretend it was obvious. Protect the asset. Caitlin's prime is a window with weather. Hail doesn't ask permission. You need a roof that doesn't leak, a staff that doesn't guess, a plan that doesn't flinch. Chemistry lesson. Respect multiplies talent. When a star knows the coach sees her clearly, the whole roster sees themselves more clearly too. Leadership note. Sandy doesn't do yes man, she does right plan. That's messier in a meeting and cleaner on a scoreboard. Whistle's truth. The huddle is a courtroom. Bad ideas get cross-examined, good ones get case law, and the verdict comes stamped on the next possession. Open secret. Locker rooms smell insincerity from a mile away. Sandy's currency is straight talk, spent generously. For the skeptics, yes, change can bruise. New demands, new tempo, new film sessions where jokes go to die, but growth introduces itself with calluses. For the dreamers, the upside is neon. Clark orchestrating with Sandy composing, the bench chiming like brass, and the scoreboard grinning like a billboard. City Pulse. Indianapolis loves hard work that looks beautiful. Set a back screen with violence, hit a slip with grace, and the building roars because it recognizes itself. Roadshow vibes. A Clark-Sandy fever becomes a traveling circus of competence. Young fans learn the language, old heads nod like, yes, that's how it's supposed to look. Media loop. Highlights breed questions. Questions breed narratives. Narratives breed stakes. And stakes are where legends write in pen instead of pencil. Schedule blues. February feels long until you have a cause. Systems give meaning to miles, and meaning makes the road feel shorter. Teammate glow up. Put a shooter in the right corner with the right timing and watch a role player turn into a nightly problem. Context can beat destiny. Big's Feast, teach the pocket pass, flatten the help, then hit the duck in, and suddenly the 5 spot eats like it's Thanksgiving in March. Bench Rhythm, second unit plays a simpler chart. 2 actions, 1 read, 0 confusion, and games get won in the 4 minutes the cameras don't romanticize. Practice Gospel, competitive cauldrons without humiliation. Score it, track it, celebrate effort louder than makes, and watch belief sprout like ivy on brick. Film Room Truth. Praise specific, critique private, standards public. This is the triangle offense of human dignity. This is key. The right voice saves legs, the better the scheme, the fewer wasted dribbles, and the fresher the lungs in the 15th minute of the 4th. Watch the corners. Shooters don't just wait, they narrate. Lift, sink, 45 cut, stampede closeout, and live in the small windows that decide big nights.
Live at the line, Sandy team stack free throws by design, angle the screen, invite the chase, show the ball, take the bump, finish the sentence. Turn the page, transition defense improves when offense clarifies. Bad shots birth fast breaks. Good shots build a wall before the other team finds second gear. Clockcraft, 2-for-1s become a religion. Squeeze possessions from the end of quarters like toothpaste because points love discipline. Depth math, rotations have seasons. October experiments, January commitments, April trust falls, and everybody knows the calendar. Crisis mode, droughts end with automatics. Stagger PNR into a short roll, drift the weak side shooter, cut the 45, layup or foul or inside out 3. Resilience is repeatable. When the plan survives contact, confidence stops being a mood and becomes a muscle you flex on command.
Narrative spice. There will be villains and there will be receipts. That's how you know you're telling a story worth getting loud about. League mirror. Greatness makes everyone better. Even the critics sharpen, even the rivals rise, and the product becomes the headline, not the subplot. Fear factor. The old guard isn't scared of talent, it's scared of permission. Sandy gives permission to be maximal, and maximal is a hard pill for control to swallow. Let's be blunt, you can spread the spotlight like butter or let it blaze like a forge. One makes toast, the other makes swords. Ownership moment. Courage costs. Money, ego, the comfort of familiar mistakes. But cowardice rents, and the bill always comes due in Game 5. Front office calculus. You evaluate not just outcomes, but the repeatability of good processes. Sandy plus Caitlin screams repeatable. Fan contract. Give people something that looks like care on purpose, and they'll sign in ink. Season tickets, road trips, jerseys, memories that outlast box scores. Hometown promise. The Midwest doesn't need stunts, it needs sincerity. Say what you'll do it loudly, then do it again when nobody's watching. Superstar insulation. A great coach absorbs the noise. She becomes the filter so the star can be the floodlight. Glare without grit is just a flash. Perspective shift. Clark is already an event. She deserves a system that treats her like an ecosystem, diverse, resilient, and alive in all 4 seasons. Counterpoint addressed. Could it backfire? All things can, but risk with vision beats safety with drift, every day ending in Y. Playbook teaser? Give us Go Chicago Zone, Horns Flex Flare, and Delay Spain Rip. Not as jargon, but as chapters in a language the city learns to speak. Final sequence imagined. Game 7, tie game, 8 seconds. Sandy taps a fist, Clark nods, the corner lifts, the dive sells, the pull-up rises, net whispers like Silk learning to sing. Legacy check? If they link, kids will lower their hoops and try the step back into the pass, into the rescreen, not because it's flashy, but because it felt like truth. Timestamp? Windows are real, gravity changes with age, legs negotiate, and the calendar doesn't care about potential, urgency as a kindness. Here's the drumbeat. New York's loss can be Indiana's language. Clear, tough, generous, and impossible to misinterpret when the fourth quarter needs adults in the room. Don't forget the edges. Sports tilt on details. Early help by an inch, release point by a fraction. A huddle word said with the right voltage, Sandy lives there. The pledge? Build a team that plays beautiful and honest and hungry. 3 adjectives, 1 identity, and 1,000 small choices pointing the same direction. Plot armor. No one gets that, not for free. You buy it with film, you buy it with sleep, you buy it with the humility to change a plan that isn't working. Map this out. Year 1 installs the grammar. Year 2 writes paragraphs. Year 3 edits for championships. Time is not an enemy when you use it like a tool. Echo chamber break. Ignore the static of narratives craving chaos. Winning is louder and cohesion is the best kind of scandal.
Hometown hymn, let the fieldhouse shake on purpose, deflections, hit-ahead threes, and a coach who calls timeouts like surgical strikes, not panic buttons. No apology. Greatness should be inconvenient. To opponents, to doubters, to anyone who liked the world better when it was easier to guard. Edge of cliff. The decision in Indiana is simple, but not easy. Do you lean into destiny or keep your balance on yesterday's fence? Confetti thought. A Clark Brondello parade wouldn't be an accident, it would be an address. This is who we are, shouted from rooftops built with reps. Sound check. Listen closely. The moment is clearing its throat. The mic is warm. The crowd is ready. And the next voice they hear should say yes. Last possession. You can call it coincidence, choreography, or conspiracy, but the scoreboard won't care. It'll only ask who had the courage to make the right pass at the right time. Final hook. If you want the future to arrive in a fever jersey, say it with your chest in your timeline, because windows don't wait and dynasties don't build themselves.